Did you know that every single year, millions of seniors over the age of 60 and beyond experience foodborne illnesses? And tragically, for some, the consequences can be devastating? What's truly concerning is that the very place you rely on to keep your food safe, your refrigerator, might actually be harboring hidden dangers. New findings suggest that storing certain everyday foods in the fridge can unknowingly increase your risk of illness. Stay with us, because the next few minutes could reveal crucial information to protect your health. It might sound counterintuitive, but new research, like findings published in the Journal of Nutritional Health, suggests that improperly chilling certain common foods can not only diminish their flavor and texture but also lead to nutrient loss and, in some cases, even create conditions that could potentially impact your well-being. Now, please don't worry. This isn't about pointing fingers. Many of us have established routines for storing food, and it's all about learning new, perhaps surprising, ways to keep our food at its absolute best, both in terms of taste and safety. By understanding which foods thrive outside the cold, we can enhance our meals and protect our health. In this video, we'll uncover the top 10 common foods that should never be routinely refrigerated. We'll delve into the science behind why the cold can be detrimental, what happens to their taste, texture, and nutritional value, and most importantly, how to store them properly. By the end of our time together, you'll have a practical guide to ensure your pantry and countertops are your allies in maintaining delicious and nutritious food. So, let's discover the 10 foods when refrigerated are doing more harm than good. Let's get started. Number 1. Tomatoes. The magnificent tomato. Whether it graces our salads, sauces, or sandwiches, it's a true kitchen staple. But here's a little secret many discover. The refrigerator can actually diminish its vibrant goodness. Food scientists at the University of California, Davis, have found that chilling tomatoes below 55 degrees Fahrenheit, around 13 degrees Celsius, disrupts the enzymes responsible for flavor development and also damages cell membranes, leading to a loss of volatile compounds that give ripe tomatoes their characteristic aroma and sweetness. This results in that often disappointing watery, bland texture. My neighbor Arthur, who's in his early 60s and a passionate gardener, learned this firsthand. He used to proudly bring in his sun-ripened tomatoes and immediately put them in the fridge. He couldn't understand why they never tasted as good as they did fresh off the vine. One afternoon, his granddaughter, a culinary student, explained the science. Now, Arthur keeps them on his kitchen counter, and he says the difference in flavor is like night and day. Imagine biting into a juicy, room-temperature tomato, bursting with that summery sweetness. That's the experience we want to preserve. Store your ripe tomatoes at room temperature, stem side down, away from direct sunlight. Only refrigerate if they become overripe and you need a day or two to use them. Number 2 on our list are potatoes. Next, we have the humble yet versatile potato, a comforting staple in so many of our meals. The Idaho Potato Commission emphasizes that refrigerating raw potatoes triggers an enzymatic process that converts their starch into sugars at an accelerated rate. When these sugar-laden potatoes are then cooked at high temperatures, such as frying or roasting, they can produce higher levels of acrylamide, a chemical compound that has been classified as a potential human carcinogen by some health organizations. Furthermore, the cold also alters their texture, making them unpleasantly grainy and sometimes even sweet. My friend Eleanor, in her late 70s, loves making her famous potato salad. She used to store her raw potatoes in the cool pantry and the refrigerator, thinking the fridge would keep them longer. But she often noticed a strange sweetness in her roasted potatoes. It wasn't until she read an article about proper potato storage that she realized the fridge was the culprit. Now, she keeps all her raw potatoes in a cool, dark, and dry spot, and her roasted potatoes taste just perfect every time. For the best flavor, texture, and to minimize potential acrylamide formation during cooking, store your potatoes in a cool, dark, and well-ventilated place like a pantry or a paper bag. Avoid plastic bags that can trap moisture. The third common food seniors should not refrigerate are onions. Those flavor-packed bulbs that form the aromatic base of countless dishes. Whole onions have a natural protective outer layer that helps maintain their moisture balance and pungent flavor. However, the humid environment of the refrigerator can disrupt this balance, causing them to absorb excess moisture, leading to a soft, sometimes slimy texture and a milder, less desirable flavor. Moreover, cut onions, even when covered, can release strong odors that permeate other refrigerated foods. George, now in his early 80s, has a very keen sense of smell. He used to store his whole onions in the crisper drawer. He often complained that his butter tasted funny, and his apples had a sharp undertone. It took him a while to realize the onions were the culprits. Once he started storing them in a mesh bag in his pantry, those odd flavors disappeared completely. Store whole onions in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated area, away from potatoes to prevent premature sprouting in both. Once cut, onions should be tightly sealed and used within a day or two. Now let's talk about garlic. That aromatic powerhouse brimming with flavor and potential health benefits. Refrigerating whole garlic bulbs can encourage sprouting and lead to a rubbery texture and a loss of their intense flavor. More importantly, storing chopped or minced garlic in oil at room temperature or in the refrigerator without proper acidification can create a risk of botulism, a serious form of food poisoning. Carol, in her late 60s, loves to prepare her own infused garlic oils. She used to keep them in the fridge, thinking it was the safest place. Thankfully, she came across information about the potential for botulism if garlic and oil isn't properly handled. Now, she either uses her infused oils immediately or stores them with vinegar in the refrigerator for very short periods. For whole bulbs, she keeps them in a basket in her pantry. Store whole garlic bulbs in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place. If you prepare chopped garlic, use it promptly or store it safely with an acidic ingredient like vinegar or lemon juice in the refrigerator for a short time. Number 5. Avocado. Now, let's talk about the creamy and nutritious avocado, a favorite for many of us. Refrigerating unripe avocados will halt their natural ripening process. They need to be kept at room temperature to soften and develop that delightful, buttery texture and rich flavor we all enjoy. Once an avocado is ripe, you can then transfer it to the refrigerator to slow down further ripening for a few days. My neighbor, Mr. Henderson, who's in his early 70s, used to buy avocados and immediately put them in the fridge, hoping they'd last longer. He was always frustrated that they remained hard and never seemed to ripen properly. His daughter, visiting from out of town, taught him the trick of leaving them on the counter, sometimes in a paper bag with a banana. Now, he enjoys perfectly ripe avocados whenever he wants. To ripen an avocado, store it at room temperature. To speed up the process, place it in a paper bag, especially with an apple or banana. Once ripe, refrigerate to extend its usability for a short period. Number 6. Banana. A convenient and potassium-rich fruit many of us rely on. Refrigerating green, unripe bananas will stop them from ripening and can even damage their cells. The peel will turn an unappetizing brown or black, although the inside might still be edible. Ripe bananas can be refrigerated to extend their shelf life, but the peel will still darken, which can be misleading. Mildred, in her late 80s, always bought a big bunch of green bananas and put them straight in the fridge, thinking she was preventing them from going bad too quickly. She was always disappointed when they turned black but remained hard and tasteless inside. I explained to her that they need to ripen at room temperature first. Now, she leaves them in a fruit bowl, and only puts the ripe ones in the fridge if she wants to slow down further ripening, knowing the peel will darken but the inside will remain good for a bit longer. Store green bananas at room temperature until they ripen to your liking. You can refrigerate ripe bananas to prolong their usability, but be aware that the peel will turn brown. Number 7 on our list are stone fruits like plums, peaches. Now, let's talk about those sweet and juicy stone fruits that are a delight, especially during warmer months. Refrigerating unripe stone fruits like peaches, plums, and nectarines can hinder their ability to ripen properly and can result in a dry, mealy, and less flavorful texture. The cold can also break down their delicate cell structure, leading to a loss of that wonderful juicy burst we expect. David, in his early 60s, loves fresh peaches in the summer. He used to buy them from the farmer's market and put them straight in the fridge. He often complained that they tasted bland and had a strange, almost grainy texture. Once he started leaving them on his counter until they were fragrant and slightly soft to the touch. He was amazed at the difference in their sweetness and juiciness. Store unripe stone fruits at room temperature until they are ripe. Once ripe, you can refrigerate them for a few days to slow down further ripening. Number 8. Melons. Let's talk about those refreshing melons, perfect for a hydrating and delicious snack. Research from the USDA indicates that whole, uncut melons like watermelon and cantaloupe actually retain more of their beneficial antioxidants, such as beta-carotene and lycopene, when stored at room temperature. Once a melon is cut, however, it should be refrigerated to prevent bacterial growth. Clara, in her late 70s, loves to buy whole watermelons in the summer. She used to struggle to fit them in her fridge. When she learned that they actually retain more nutrients and flavor when left uncut at room temperature, it was a game changer for her storage. Of course, once she cuts into it, she always refrigerates the leftovers. Store whole, uncut melons at room temperature in a cool, dry place. Once cut, wrap them tightly and refrigerate for up to a few days. Number 9. Bell peppers. Now let's move on to those colorful and versatile bell peppers that add so much to our cooking. While bell peppers can be stored in the refrigerator, prolonged cold storage can cause them to lose some of their crispness and vibrant flavor. They can also develop pitting or soft spots over time. My friend Walter, in his early 80s and still an avid cook, noticed that his refrigerated bell peppers often became a bit limp and lost their satisfying crunch in his stir-fries. He started storing them in a cool part of his pantry, and he found they stayed crisper and more flavorful for several days. For the best flavor and texture, store bell peppers in a cool, dry place in your pantry or on the countertop for a few days. If longer storage is needed, refrigerate them in the crisper drawer, but expect a potential slight decrease in quality. Number 10. Fresh herbs, especially basil. Finally, let's talk about those fragrant fresh herbs that can elevate our meals with their wonderful aromas and flavors. Certain delicate herbs, particularly basil, are very sensitive to cold temperatures. Refrigeration can cause their leaves to blacken and wilt, and they lose much of their precious volatile oils, which are responsible for their distinctive aroma and taste. More robust herbs like parsley and cilantro can tolerate refrigeration better with proper storage. My friend Sylvia, in her mid-60s, loves to use fresh basil in her Italian cooking. She used to store it in the fridge, only to find it turning black and slimy within a couple of days. I shared a tip I learned: treat basil like cut flowers. Trim the stems and place them in a glass of water at room temperature, loosely covered with a plastic bag. Sylvia was amazed at how much longer her basil stayed fresh and fragrant. Treat basil like cut flowers, placing the stems in water at room temperature. Other herbs like parsley and cilantro can be wrapped in a damp paper towel and stored in a plastic bag in the refrigerator. So there you have it, dear friends, 10 common foods that truly thrive outside the chill of your refrigerator. It's remarkable how these small adjustments in storage can make such a significant difference in the taste, texture, nutritional value, and even the safety of the foods we enjoy every day. Now, I understand that some of these tips might be new to you, and you might have been refrigerating these items for years. That's perfectly alright. The most important thing is to learn and to make gradual changes that feel manageable for you. Start by focusing on 1 or 2 foods that you use most often and see if you notice a difference. Remember, if counter or pantry space is a concern, prioritize these 10 items. For cut produce that does require refrigeration, always use airtight containers. And for extending the life of other vegetables and fruits in the fridge, the crisper drawers are your friends, often with adjustable humidity controls. Try making 1 or 2 of these storage adjustments this week. Observe how your tomatoes taste when left on the counter, or how much longer your potatoes stay firm in a cool pantry. Small changes can lead to significant improvements in your enjoyment of food. And remember, these tips are just one part of a healthy lifestyle. Combining them with a balanced diet, regular gentle exercise, like we often discuss here, sufficient sleep, and nurturing your mental well-being will contribute to a truly vibrant and fulfilling life. To quickly summarize, we've learned that tomatoes, potatoes, onions, garlic, avocados, until ripe, bananas, until ripe, stone fruits, until ripe, whole melons, bell peppers, and especially basil prefer to be stored outside the refrigerator. Keeping these guidelines in mind will help you savor their optimal flavor, texture, and nutritional benefits. I encourage you to take a moment after this video to check your refrigerator and pantry. Perhaps you'll find a few of these items that could be happier in a different spot. Try these storage methods and let us know in the comments below if you notice a difference. We love hearing your experiences and any other food storage wisdom you might have to share. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more practical tips and heartwarming insights designed to support you in living your best senior life. Remember, my wonderful friends, you possess a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you continue to learn and adapt every day. Embracing these simple yet effective tips is another way you're taking care of yourselves and enhancing your daily lives. Savor every moment, every meal, and know that you are valued and cherished. You have so much wisdom to share, and your well-being is our utmost priority. Keep nourishing yourselves, in every sense of the word. Until our next time together, please take the very best care of yourselves. You are deeply appreciated.